Your marketing sucks. And I'm not saying that to be cute. I'm saying it because someone needs to. I'm Kyle Milan, owner of Milan Media, and we help companies stop the bleeding, kill the fluff, and build marketing machines that actually drive revenue. If you're tired of wasting budget, chasing vanity metrics, and getting ghosted by leads, you're in the right damn place. Let's get into it.
Learn nothing was blocking me. I was the problem, the only one stopping me. I didn't like it, I had to refocus. Now I'm devoted, I know where I'm going. Controlling emotions, I'm owning the moment. In order to get it, see, you gotta want it. This type of flow make a living break.
If you're a saleswoman in the industrial and manufacturing space, then you'll want to watch this episode of Intersecting Industries to get some inspiration on how you can excel and stand out in your role. Well, let's dive right in. Let's start with how you acquired your position at TCI.
I started out, I was a dog groomer, and I groomed the owners' dogs and boarded their dogs. So I had known the owners for a few years. And I started out just as support staff, office work, cleaning, went into helping with the process, shipping and receiving, stripping of the parts, helping with the wash line, whatever was needed, I was there.
So you're in sales. You've been doing sales for them for about a year, correct?
Yes, correct. I started out doing deliveries, pickup and deliveries, and then built a rapport with the customers, earned their trust, showed that our process and our service and the quality was worth it. So I developed relationships with the customers. Never intended on getting into sales, but the customers would call the owners and say, hey, you should get her into sales. We like her. So it developed from there.
And this is not your first sales position. You actually sold Oldsmobiles, correct?
For about a year during college, I acquired a position with a local dealership. And yes, I sold Oldsmobiles. Cutlass Supremes, I'm dating myself, the Oldsmobile Delta 88s and the 98s. So started my sales learning basically there, and would be out on the lot. And of course, in the area, there was a lot of GM workers, and I would meet and greet them. And many times I would get, oh, what are you going to show me? The mirrors? And I'd pop the hood and I said, no, let's look at the engine, talk about horsepower and overhead fuel injectors. And so that is how I kind of stood out from the rest, and the customers appreciated that.
I found that story interesting whenever you were telling me about that. So thanks for sharing that.
I grew up with a father who was a mechanic and drag race motorcycles. So I grew up with a little bit of that knowledge.
You were also a science teacher for 8th and 9th graders, and you did that for about 5 years, and you substitute taught after that.
Yes.
So how has your teaching science helped you with the knowledge that you have for TCI Coatings?
It definitely correlates with what we're doing. I get to see the concepts that I used to instruct with my students. I get to see them in real life manufacturing processes. So when I go into a facility and they let me see the process and the products being made, it's like eye candy to me. It's amazing. And so all of the physics and all of the chemistry correlates with our coatings, because our coatings are actually unique recipes that is designed to coat, tool, and dies, and to help with part release, resistance to abrasion, and increased lubricity. And so instead of the dies getting worn out, the coating actually takes the wear and tear, and it extends the life about 3 to 10 times.
And how would you say that your PVD coatings, and for everybody who doesn't know, what does PVD stand for?
Thank you for asking. PVD is actually physical vapor disposition. What it is it's a NASA type machine that is vacuum sealed, and it's an electrified plasma cloud of metals. And the metals are, of course, a unique recipe developed by Matt Carpenter, the owner, one of the owners. We have Matt Carpenter, Mike Carpenter, and Jerry Carpenter. And our recipes are uniquely designed to adhere to the substrate it creates a first layer of a plasma nitride, which is a case hardening. It adheres into the substrate about 50 microns. So basically what it's doing, it's creating a harder outer shell. And then it's about a 14-hour process, and it coats in layers. And we can do up to 36 layers of chromium, titanium, aluminum recipes, combinations, depending on what the manufacturer is working. If they're working aluminum, if they're working galvanized steel, aluminum, high tensile steel. And we've even come across a couple of applications other than metal stamping where our coatings have helped. For example, molds for latex. One of our coatings has helped greatly, and we're getting repeat business for that, and some other applications. So we're excited and we're growing.
That is a lot of information and very technical. So thank you for sharing that with us, I should say. One of the things that we talked about was how you stand above your competitors. Let's talk about that for a little bit.
Okay, well, first of all, we specialize mainly in the automotive and appliance industries. So we specialize in microfinishing. Basically, what we tell our customers is the coating is as good as a substrate. And so we have to process that substrate before we coat it. And of course, also the recipes are unique and they last longer. So they're designed specifically for the hot stamping, cold stamping, plastic mold injections. And then, of course, I care about our customers. So I've always been kind of very adamant about customer service. My customers can call me any time of the day, 24 hours a day, no problem. And of course, in the manufacturing industry, that is vital. You know, if you have a machine down or a line down, that holds up the whole process. And so our coatings help so that the machine is functioning longer and there's less downtime, definitely less downtime.
We also talked about you have a faster turnover
Yes.
in your process. You can do things relatively quickly.
Yes, correct. Because we specialize in just automotive and appliance industry mainly, our turnaround time is usually 3 to 4 days in shop. What I like to tell our clients is that, you know, give me until, if I pick up on a Thursday, give me until next Thursday. But of course, I'm always delivering at least a couple days before that. I like to exceed expectations. And we do specialize in many hot jobs. So if there's something that comes up and a tool or a dissection crashes and they don't have a backup, they can call us anytime and we'll do what we can to get it there as soon as possible, get it processed and get it back to them as soon as possible. And of course, our coatings will not chip or flake. I've had one customer call me up and they tried to grind on it and was asking me a question, how come I can't grind it off? I said, well, you have to give it back to us and we can easily strip it without etching or damaging the substrate, and then we recoat it. So it's very durable, and many customers are finding the value, and especially with the need of getting workers, the shortage of everywhere I go, everybody needs workers. They're hurting for workers, and if there's anything that can help to reduce labor time, downtime, many of them are looking at PVD coatings now.
Those are all important points because if, like, you know, when we talked, if a person doesn't have a replacement part, being able to get that repaired quickly and back up and working is so key for manufacturing.
Exactly. Now, what's frustrating in my industry is that, you know, there's a manufacturer, you know their process, you know that they have part release issues, cleaning issues, that sort of thing. And as a salesperson, you know that you can help with those issues. You can improve those issues. You can make that process easier and more time efficient. but you just can't get in there to give them that information. And in sales, as we all know, I think that's the biggest obstacle is trying to get a decision maker's name. With me, it's usually tool and die supervisors. Getting past the gatekeeper to get an email, a phone number, something, just to say, hey, we do PVD coatings. I think we can help. And of course, you, like Kyle and you, Nancy, say you can't put it all in their face all at once. You have to kind of subtly, hey, this is us. Here's a brochure. Just subtly, this is what we can do. And then just keep at it, just trying to keep getting your info to them.
So I like that you brought that up. You can't put it all in their face at one time because you just can't do that. I mean, we talk a lot on, Kyle talks a lot about it. We talk a lot about it here. Whenever you approach somebody, it can't be a situation where you just give them everything all at once. And you and I kind of had a conversation about that. So tell me what your process is for getting into a new company.
My first year here at TCI, basically I would call and ask if I can send our brochures, or I would stop by. You cannot be afraid to call them and say, hey, I'm in your parking lot. And of course, during COVID, I would call first and ask, hey, can I just stop in the office and just drop off our brochures and my business card? And many